Hi guys, my name is Parnali Dharia. I'm a woman international master. Give me one moment. Let me check if you're live. Hi guys. So today we are going to have a look at V for Victory, which was a game that was played between Capablanca and Treble, Carol Treble. Hello Snehashish. Hello Dharmkarn. So we'll look at an interesting game, and this game is really nice because you will see a big V in the game, and that's why it's called V for Victory. Hello Nord Junction. So let's see, d4 d5, c4, c6. So we have the Slav, knight f3, e6, bishop g5. So back then guys, this game was played in 1929, and back then theory was not so common. So that's why you will see strange moves in the opening, like bishop e7, bishop into e7. You usually don't see the bishop getting exchanged so quickly. So knight into e7 is one move here, and it can be played, but I think the knight belongs to f6 because you have to go to e4. So that's why queen into e7. Yes, Avdut. Hello Jaykant. I'm early today. Yeah, I'm doing a seminar from tomorrow, that's why I have to get up early, so I thought I'll just start early. So knight b d2. This is again a normal move. If you look at the game, you just want to play this move, and I play Catalan myself, so I usually have the bishop on g2, but even with the bishop on f1, you can play this bishop d3 after e4, and even e3, bishop d3, and then slowly e4 you can play. And probably black will try to play f5. A move like f5 is necessary, and that's what was played in the game. Otherwise I think white is just better because this bishop will be stuck, and usually you should exchange c8 bishop with the f1 bishop, and you should keep this bishop because there's a lot of dark square weakness that you'll see in the game later on. So f5. After f5 it's still fine, it's still equal, it's queen's gambit declined, and it's without knight c3. So from Slav we transpose to queen's gambit, and then e3. Okay, a normal move, developing move. You want to just castle here, knight d7, and now bishop d3 is played. So again, why knight d7 is played is because otherwise I will play knight e5 myself and get the knight here. So I have two really strong knights, and as you can see there is no bishop that is controlling this square, so that's why it will be better for me. Jaykant, वो होगी कहीं पे, I'm sure, like it must be there. Hello Kunal. So we are having a look at V for Victory game, and it is a really interesting game played by Capablanca. Capablanca is white. Avdut or Dharmkaram, can you just post the link for the today's stream? So that way Jaykant can also see it. Okay, knight d7 was played, bishop d3, and now knight h6. So again he's playing this move because he's keeping the option of getting this knight to f6 and maybe something like g5, or getting this knight to f7, g6, and then e5 break. So a lot of plans for black here, but this bishop will still be a very bad piece, and as you can see all the pawns are in the same color as the bishop, so that's why it's a bad bishop. कुणाल, मैं अपना गेम दिखाऊंगी कभी आज, लेकिन एक कैपाब्लांका का गेम देखेंगे और फिर ताल का देखेंगे. अगर टाइम बच गया तो I'll show one of my games. Avdut, thank you so much. So Jaykant, you can refer the link, and I think you will be able to see Sahil stream. Okay, so castles, and then castles. Thank you, Dharmkarn. Okay. And now queen c2 was played. So queen c2 is not really common. The first thing that comes to my mind is maybe rook c1 and maybe something like c5, b4, and have some attack here, take a break with b5 and open the position. So that's what comes to my mind first. But I think Capablanca was worried about a move like g5 and g4 because usually this is very typical in King's Indian when black tries to attack with the king side from the king side and white tries to attack the queen side. So this is again going to turn like that, but this bishop is not active. There is no pawn here, there is no pawn here, so it's completely different and the dynamics are different, so we won't get the same result. So queen c2 was played, and now g6. So as you can see, almost all the pawns are in the same color as the bishop. So really it is a bad position for black because of the bishop. The bishop has nowhere to go, no good diagonal. Like even if it maneuvers, it cannot really come out. So that's why white is better here, and he realized that. So what do you think should be the move, guys? If you have any doubts, guys, please do ask. Okay, let me just check the link so that you guys. Okay. Okay, I think Avdut sent the link for my stream, and Dharmkarn, Jaykant, you can refer to Dharmkarn's link. No problem, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so what do you think should be white's move here? How should he proceed? What should be the plan here? So I can maybe tell you a few plans and then you can choose among them. That will be easier for you probably. So one is to play c5, first move. Then the other one is to play rook c1, and the last one is to play rook b1. So what do you prefer amongst these three moves? c5? Hello Sagar. Okay, c5 is nice. Okay, c5 can be played, but the problem with c5 is that you are allowing him to play e5. So there is here. If you had played something like maybe rook c1 and then e5, then you can just take, he takes, or you can even take here with the knight, and then you can take this after queen into e5. Give me a moment. You can take this. So this pawn, there is, if this happens, then you just play knight d4, and again the bishop is a really sad piece here, guys. Like just look at it, it doesn't have a good diagonal, and when the queen moves, you get this knight to d4. So knight is really strong, it cannot be moved away. That's why you don't play c5 first. But yes, c5 is going to be the plan later on. Thank you, guys. Rook b1, that's great, Avdut. Good luck. So rook b1 was played, and now he is not committing quickly with c5. He is just keeping his opponent on toes because his opponent has to guess the idea. It can either be c5 and b4 or maybe directly b4 and b5. So now the opponent is confused and he has to think here. And he played knight f6. So knight f6 looks like a very logical move, very normal. And now you just play knight e5. Take the square very quickly and make space for this knight to go here. F3. So what is slightly better here? Should we play f4 first or should we play knight f3? So this is a positional game, guys, but it is a positional brilliancy, because you'll see in the game what happens. It'll be a victory, like a V-shaped victory. Oh really? Okay, let me quickly check. Hello Bharat. Alright. Give me a moment, guys. I'll just quickly change things. Just a moment. Is it better now? Should be. Is my voice better? जयकांत, आई एम नॉट श्योर अभी, क्योंकि अभी फ़िलहाल मेरा कल से एक सेमिनार है जो फिडे ट्रेनर कहलाता है, लाइक उनके लिए होता है, तो वो एग्ज़ाम की तरह है, तो अभी तो बिज़ी हूँ, पर बाद में पक्का. थैंक यू नॉट जंक्शन, थैंक यू सागर. ओके, थैंक यू अवधुत. Alright, so what should be the move here, guys? Should we play f4 first or should we just play rook knight f3 here? Okay. ABD, अच्छा RCB versus Kings Punjab चालू है. Okay, so you're talking about that. Alright. Dharnkam, you're right. F4 is the move. Harshal, you too. Hello Harshal. Nerd junction NF3 can be played, but the thing is that you want to enter the position with your rook here. So you want to have a rook lift. That's why you play rook f3 and rook h3. That's why you play f4, so that you can have plans with the rook also. Hello Sundar. Sundar, you just solve a few tactics and maybe just look at a few games. So you will definitely learn a lot and you will improve quickly. But for step by step, I think like if you're talking about basics, then I think Lichess and chess.com have drills, so you can do that, like basic drills. So that can be done, and otherwise you can study a few games or solve a few tactics. Okay, yeah, you can follow the channel. Thanks, Nerd Junction. I learned chess, well, the story is kind of funny, because I never really liked chess when I started it, because it started as a punishment for me. I was very mischievous kid and I would never sit. I would move around the house, and my mom thought that there should be something that, you know, that should make her calm down. So like my dad decided to like punish me with a game of chess, and that's how chess started for me. Then I took some coaching, went to a chess class, and that's how it started for me. But first 1 year I hated chess. I was just 9 years old. Okay, so f4, bishop d7. So finally he's improving the bishop. He's trying to, but you won't let that happen. And finally you play knight df3. Yeah, it is a very different story. जयकांत, श्योर हम खेलेंगे. एक्चुअली हमने डाइस चेस ट्राई किया था, लेकिन वो ठीक से नहीं गया, तो क्योंकि वो डाइस का प्रॉब्लम हो गया था. लेकिन वी विल ट्राई, मे बी 3 चेक या फिर किंग ऑफ द हिल ऐसे करके कुछ ट्राई करेंगे पक्का. So knight f3. So finally if you look at the position, सारे pieces developed है. ये रुक भी इधर, it looks as if it's not working, but you can play b4 and c5 anytime to open this rook, and it will be really useful. So this is like a mysterious rook move, and rook on f1 always is useful for attack later on if rook f3, rook h3, or even rook c1. So all the pieces including the queen are well placed for white. And if you compare black's pieces, then okay, the knights have moved a lot, but they're still not in a great position. Bishop is a bad bishop because all the pawns, I mean most of the pawns are in the same color as the bishop. So that's why this is like a big pawn on d7. It's not a bishop, and it just it looks like a pawn, right? A pawn just big in size. So rook f d8. Nerd junction we can play 4-player chess, but I don't know who the players will be. Maybe I can ask a few of my friends. The pawn chain, yeah, it looks beautiful, but there is a lot of dark square weakness if you see, and there's no bishop. So if black had the bishop on f8, it would still be fine because at least the squares can be covered with the help of the bishop. But now there's nothing that can be done to, you know, guard these squares, weakened squares. So every time a pawn moves, guys, there's always some weakness. For example, this pawn moved and h6 is weak, f6 is weak. So if this pawn moves, e4 is weak, g4 is weak. So always think like that. So don't make unnecessary pawn moves, even though we saw that 14 pawn consecutive moves game. Don't make too many pawn moves. And now we finally strike with b4. Bishop e8 is played. And now what do you play? Which is the piece that is yet to be in the game for white? Which piece can be improved? Guys, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can take your time. Knight g5, okay. Rook f e1. Ravi Teja, hello. Ravi Teja, your idea is correct. The rook on f1 is not doing much, but is there a better square for the rook? Can you think something, guys? Knight g5 is interesting because you want to take and you want to take advantage of the dark squares, right? I think so. But I think I will just move back. I'm sorry, I'll just play this move. Ravi Teja, yes, but there should be just one pawn in the file. Like, there shouldn't be two pawns. Sorry if you got confused. And rook f e1 would be fine, but now there is no threat of capturing, or there is no threat of going ahead with the pawn because the two pawns are controlling the square. So that's why this file cannot really be opened up that quickly. Only in case of when you can open the file quickly, then you do that. And usually the position should be slightly open, like slightly, so that you know, like if you want to play d5, then it will be great because if the rook was on e1, he couldn't capture it. Something like that. Hello Parshuram. ज़रूर जयकांत, कर सकते हो आप कमेंट्री, बिल्कुल. Avdut, that's fine. You can surely start again. It's never too late to learn chess, guys. Parshuram, 1 second. I'll quickly go back. 1 second. So here you want to exchange the knight on f6 or f7, I think. f7? You can, but the problem is he will take and you can get the second knight here. But again, you don't want to exchange pieces, and you will know why later on in the game. There will be something which will amaze you. I'm sure. I can guarantee you, you will be amazed. Hello, Ameyo. So that's why b4 was played. But yes, knight into f7 looks like a normal move and it can be played. But b4, he had some different ideas in his mind. Bishop e8. And now rook fc1. Yes, Parshuram. That's great. ABD is on fire. So now rooks are controlling. So, okay, 1 second. Ravi Teja, you told me that I mentioned yesterday. So rook b1 is played for the very same reason. Like later on, if b5 is played, then the rook is well placed here because it will be opened up. So that's why. a6. So he is preventing b5, but you're not really afraid. You play a move like queen f2. And now knight into e5. So finally black loses his patience, and this type of play is called wait and watch. You don't do anything, you let your opponent make a mistake. You keep playing normal moves, like you don't threaten much, but you just keep playing normal moves, and you keep improving your pieces, and your opponent soon realizes that he can't do anything, and suddenly he doesn't have patience and he makes a mistake. So it is a very common strategy. Knight into e5, knight d7, and now you just, what do you do with this knight? Should you capture here or should you just get it back? What do you think, guys? Ravi Teja, Harshal, Jaykant, Avdut, what do you think? Parshuram, you too, what do you think? What should be White's move here? Should he capture on d7 or should he get the knight back? Alright, Harshal, okay. Dharmkam, you're right. Harshal, Dharmkam, you both are right. So yes, you go back, knight f3. Yes, Ravi Teja, all of you, you are correct. Knight goes back. Why? Because knight is doing a good job and you have more space, so you shouldn't exchange pieces. So since you have a lot of space, after c5 you can just compare the two positions. This bishop is again a bad bishop, and if you ever have to exchange something, it should be this piece and this piece. So knight versus bishop will be really bad for black. That's why you don't exchange knight with knight. Exactly, Harshal. Just knight f3. You're correct. No other move, right? Sundar, yes, I'm a yoga instructor also. I gave the exams last year. I teach yoga. Not really, but I can teach yoga. Okay. अमेय यस, यहाँ पे चेस चल रहा है, क्रिकेट नहीं. Yeah, so rook d c8. Again, you might feel this move is stupid because why to play rook on c8? It's not really doing anything. But in case if this is captured, then both the rooks are on the open c file. Hello, Gautam. Yes, you're right. After c5 comes, guys, just imagine, look at the position, like these three pawns are completely stopping black's bishop, and this pawn and f4 pawn are supporting these three pawns. So rook d c8 or rook a c8, both are correct, but rook d c8 was played in the game, and now you just play c5. That's great, Avdut. So now just compare the bishops, guys. Just look at the bishops, like bishop on e8 and bishop on d3. Just compare this. It's like this is like rest in peace for this bishop, and it has nothing to do. Like, it can just go here. Yeah, and whenever, guys, the structure is closed, keep your knights with you. Amir, you are right. A4 and b5 is the plan. So next will be a4 and b5. Next few moves. Knight f6, a4, as you mentioned. And now there are two things that can happen. One is you just keep the tension here like this, or you can take a break. But remember, guys, whenever you take a break, this bishop will be activated. So you have to make sure that all your pieces are in the best position, so that even if he gets the bishop out, you are slightly better coordinated than black, and that will definitely help you. Okay, knight g4 was played. So he's trying to attack, but it's not really going to work. Queen e1, knight h6. So he's just making random moves, and he's trying his best to come out with a plan, but I don't think there'll be any plan. Maybe knight f7, h6 and g5 is his plan, but I think if h4 and g3 is played, even that is not possible. So h3 was played to restrict the knight and to have some square for the king. Knight f7, and now either king h2 or g4. What should be played here, guys? Should we take a break with g4, or should we just play a normal move like king h2? RCB जीतेगा, I'm sure. g4, okay. Ravi Teja, knight g5 is a good move, but the problem is maybe later on you can play that. So guys, I think he had some plans like this, but the problem is knight f3 is there, so that's why it's not working. And if you take, then you're losing a pawn. So that's why you keep this move with you, and you don't want to exchange the knights. But okay, good attempt, Ravi Teja. g4, Sundar, you're perfect. g4 is the move. And now the idea is to take a break here, and suddenly you will see the rooks are stuck on this side, and you will quickly go here. You will get this rook from b2 to h file, maybe. And that's why g4 was played, because if he takes, you cannot really prevent this move, and the h file will be really strong. So I think Sahil showed you some games about the h file, like something to do on the h file. So guys, this is a very typical thing. Yeah, but he doesn't have enough pieces, so that's why it's working. You're right, it would make our king vulnerable only if he had pieces, but he doesn't have enough pieces here, and this bishop is still again rest in peace. This rook 2, it's not coming in the game. So even this rook is not really serving any purpose, it's just there. But if you look at your own rooks, you can quickly get them to the h file. So that is the difference between white and black's position, and that's why space matters a lot. But he didn't capture, he played bishop d7. And now he played rook c2. So again the idea is similar. You are confusing your opponent. Either you want to go to rook b2 or you want to go to rook h2. So what do you think, guys? Yeah, Jaykant. Yeah, you're right, Dhankar. So he has two plans here, and first thing that came to my mind was rook b2 with the same idea, either rook b1 or rook h2. So you're confusing the opponent. Rook c2, king h8 was played. And now can you tell me what should be the move, guys? So the rook can move to 3 squares. 3 squares are really good for the rook. So where does the rook belong? What do you think? Where to move the rook? Rook h2? Okay, that's nice, Ravi Teja. Rook g2, okay. Parshuram says rook g2. Guys, okay, so Ravi Teja, you said rook h2. Alright, rook h2 is correct, but the thing is now he will never capture, and the potential open file is the rook g2, like the g file, because rook on g2 kind of threatens this move, and after that the rook is on the g file, it is open file. Okay, Jaykant, I'll let him know. So इसीलिए रुक g2 खेला गया and not रुक h2. रुक h2 would be fine too, but वो कभी भी मारेंगे नहीं, तो h file पे रुक is not doing anything unless he captures. So you will have to play a move like g5, h4, h5, hg6 in order to open the h file. So instead of that, you can just play rook g2, and now you are threatening this move. So he has to go rook g8. Again, you use the same principle, rook c8 and rook c1, right? So rook g8 and rook g2. So if I take, he takes with the pawn, and again he also has a rook on the g file. Okay. Harshal and Parshuram, you are right. Rook g2. So Ravi Teja, you seem slightly confused between the rook maneuvers, but it's fine. You will be fine soon. Yeah, second rook active now. But it's Capablanca who's playing here, and since rook g8 has already been played, so he also has wasted a move, right? Yeah, correct, Ravi Teja, you are right. But he decided to do something else. He played g5. So g5 is really strange, and you can already see the V, right? There's already a V. Can you see it? In the position. There's a reason why it's called V for victory. And just a second, guys. Just a second. Give me 1 second. All right. Great. I thought my mic was muted. There was some issue, I thought. Hello, Sarthak. Yeah, he can take with e6 also. You're right. So after this, he can even play this. Maybe, but I think he would like to open the g file, because even this king is on g1. So black would suddenly get some initiative here, and that's why he did not capture. Yes, Ravi Teja, you're right. He has the W. Guys, have you watched that movie with the big W, like some Hindi movie? Dhamal, right? I think. Yeah, f3 knight is weak, but who will attack the knight? There's no one attacking the knight now. And look at this poor bishop. I don't know, this is just like a pawn sitting on d7. It has nowhere to go. Once I get a move like a5, this bishop is completely out of the game. It will just stay dead for rest of his life. Not that he had any life before. Yeah, Dharmkam, it looks like a snake here, right? But this is way stronger. Yeah, correct, Amey. That is another reason. So once the pieces move to this side, you start with the other side, and once the pieces go to queen side, you start hitting on the king side. So that's a good observation, Amey. That's right. Sarthak, there's nothing attacking here. That's why we are playing like this. Completely suffocating black. Queen d8 was played. And now can you tell me what should be played? So one move is this, and one move is maybe rook b2. So what do you play? I'm giving you options because both of them are working, but you have to play that in the right move order, or what is more critical right now. Slightly tough, but I'm sure it will help you in your chess. Any idea, guys? h4, correct. Sarthak, you're right. So he prevented h6. That is also one move that he prevented. You're correct. So that's why the decision of giving away the dark squared bishop in the opening was wrong, and that's why I said that it is not very popular right now to give the bishop with bishop e7. So now you can see that all the dark squares are very weak, extremely weak, and this knight has to do all the job of the bishop. So this knight controls these 3 squares, but it can't control these 2. So sooner or later you will get an entry. Harshal, you're right. Ravi Teja, absolutely right. Sarthak, you too. Okay, so most of you got it correct. I think everyone got it correct. Parshuram, you too. Correct. h4 is played with the idea of playing h5. So now the situation here is all it's all blocked here, so you can take your time. You can play this move, get both the queen and the rook on this h file, and then you can take a break, or you can just wait, look at what black does, and then you can plan if you want to play on this side or if you want to play on the h file. So it's up to you now. King g7. So he's trying to escape with the king now, something like this, and it's a typical strategy, guys. So whenever your king is in attack, and if you want to defend and you cannot get all the pieces, try to evacuate the king from there, like an emergency exit for the king. So this is that. And now h5 was played. So he is making sure that, you know, this king doesn't feel safe at all, and if you take, then you just play queen h4. You capture here and enter the position. Just look at the bishop and rook, guys. They are not doing anything. So rook h8 was played, and now can you tell me the move, guys? Since you mentioned you have to focus on the h file. Sure, Parshuram, take your time. No problem, guys. So rook h8, what do you play? We have many plans here, guys. One is to capture at g6, one is to play h6, one is to play rook h2. So what should we play? It is an important decision right now, and we shouldn't hurry. We should be patient. Just wait and watch. Amey, can you suggest a move? Sarthak, you too? Yes, you're right. So they are in quarantine, and they are also following social distance, because this rook is following social distance because it's way far away from the game. Okay, knight e5 is one move, knight h4 and rook h2. Okay, Gautam, rook h2, correct. Harshal, you too. So guys, again, we don't want to exchange anything because his position is completely locked, and it is black who wants to exchange pieces. So we shouldn't try to do it ourselves. Knight h4 does make sense. Knight h4, but I think knight h4 is not good because queen belongs on h4. So that's why we are not playing knight h4. Yes, rook h2 is the move. Amir, you're right. Rook h8 and then rook h2. So now you can even play this rook on h file, or you can play queen h4, king g2. One second. And then get this rook here. So 3 major pieces on the h file. It can be a possibility. So you play rook h2. And now if queen c7 is something that was played, what should you play? Okay, this is slightly tough, and I'll tell you this because it is difficult. Okay, even I couldn't find it if I had to, probably. Queen c3 was played, so you're suddenly playing on the other side of the board, and if you look close, then now if I get to play e4 and d5, there'll be some check here, and if not, I am still threatening a move like b5, and I am still threatening king f2 and rook h1. So I moved the queen first, confusing the opponent, and now when he plays something, I can decide if I want to move the king or if I want to do something else. So since, as Amir mentioned, these two are busy in quarantine, so he just played queen d8, king f2, queen c7. He's just moving the queen because there is nothing else that he can do. Knight cannot move. It doesn't really have any squares. If the knight moves, I'll jump with the knight here, and it cannot move here. The rook can move, but it is of no use. This rook cannot move because otherwise you will lose control of the h file, and the bishop is always a dead piece in this game. The complete game, the bishop has been a big pawn. So black is in a bad situation here. And now can you tell me the move, guys? You have already guessed it, but again, what do you play here? Harshal, h6 pawn push would be really, like, it would be really bad for black, because again, just look at the pawns and just look at the bishop, the sad little piece on d7. Yes, knight f7 is corona positive. If it moves, it makes problems for others. Yes, but it will close everything. So that's why you just play rook hb1. I mean rook bh1. Harshal, sorry, Amir, this move won't help because you take, I will just take here, and knight will get an amazing square on d4. So that's why it's not going to work. He surely thought about a move like e5, I'm sure, but it's not going to work. It will just be a pawn sacrifice for nothing. Okay, you think rook b8? Rook b8, I have two choices. I can either continue here like this and play something like this, threatening here, or I can even close further with a5. And if you see, b5 is not really a threat, because I can just close the position with a5. And if you play b6, then a6 is hanging. So it's not that easy. It's definitely not that easy for black to come out of the situation. So queen c7, rook h1. Am I clear, guys? If you have any doubts, you can ask. And guys, keep liking the stream, keep subscribing. So today we reached 300 plus subscribers. Let's see if we can grow further in the coming days. Keep subscribing, guys, and keep liking the video so that more people join us. Okay, so rook h1, and again, now if you make this move, can you tell me what's happening if you play this? There's something serious that is happening now. Okay, I'll tell you. Takes, takes, you can take here, takes, and you finally get the knight here, or you can even get your queen. Yeah, g6 is the move. And you can even wait here. You don't have to make any urgent break. You can even play queen e1. Okay, escape with king e2, and then you can take and get the queen to h4. So basically there is nothing left for black here. I don't know how will he defend against the h-file attack. Okay, this move, and he played rook 8 g8. So he wants to escape with the king here. He wants to move to 8. So 8 is the safest square for the king, guys. And if that happens, then even if you have the h-file, it won't really be that significant. But let's see if we can do that. So now queen a1 was played with the idea of confusing the opponent. So if this is played, I'll play this move. Takes, takes, and the queen enters from the a file. So now that you can't go to the h file, you suddenly go towards the a file and try to do something here. So now again black was also confused, so he played rook b8. He played rook b8 so that there is no b5, and queen 8 check is prevented. Queen a3, you're just taking. So guys, this whole game is about waiting. This is completely patience. Like, a lot of patience is required to play such a game, and if you tell me to make such moves, I don't think I can make such moves. Maybe I'll show you one of my games later, like instead of Tal's game. Suddenly I'm remembered of one of my games with similar pawn structure where everything was completely locked. I'll show that to you maybe. Yes, Harshal, white plays on both the sides. Hello Ayush, how were your exams? I remember you were there in the initial sessions. There are a few moves left, maybe around 20 moves. Yeah, 20 more moves. 23 to be precise. So you're just like waiting, and finally you play b5. Takes, and now you play h6. So guys, if you play this move here, and if you're wondering if this can work, it cannot, because h6, the king moves back and this is hanging. So that's why both is fine, but he just played h6 first instead of a into b5, making sure there's no problem, and now he took. So suddenly h file was the file that was supposed to be opened up, but that's not the case, and you suddenly focus on the a file and he cannot do anything. Now this piece is a dead piece. This knight is obviously corona positive, as Dharmkar mentioned, and rook g8 is also not doing anything. Bishop is always been a dead piece again. Just look at the pieces, guys. It's really sad for black here. If I can get to play b6, it will be really horrible. So king e7 and white to play and have a decisive advantage. White to play here. That's great, Ayush. That's great. You can suggest a move, guys. No junction, you are absolutely right. So b6. And now you can see the V for victory, guys. As I have titled this, it's V for victory for a reason. Look at the pawns. Just look at them. Funny, right? It's really funny position. I mean, the knight can never come out. Never. He will have to sacrifice, and he will have to give up the knight for pawns to get some counterplay. But just try to find a way to improve the knight. There's none. Like, this knight can't come out from here also. Ayush, I won't be starting a series like improving chess, but I'll be streaming every day and I'll be playing on Wednesday against a subscriber. So it will definitely improve your chess in a way. So I won't name it because otherwise I'll just have to teach you and I can't maybe show my games. But you will learn a lot on the channel, guys. Yes, Avdut, it's really pretty. Like, just look at it. Like, I can just look at it and be like amazed. Like, initially he just went to the H file so that he can take a break on the H file, but he closed it and suddenly this file is opened. Like, this is Capablanca, guys, and he always played very slowly. He used to take advantage and he would completely suffocate his opponent. So as you can see, black is completely suffocated. This bishop has no life. Like, at least there was some break before, but now even that is not possible. There's just no way it can come out. e5 is there, but again it's not coming out. So rook a1, you take control of the a file. Rook c8. So he's just trying to, I don't know what he's trying, but well, he didn't resign, the opponent. Queen b4, rook h d8. And now can you tell me the move, guys? This is a nice move. And Ravi Teja, I'm sure you will like the game because I remember you were there in the Unacademy and I've showed a similar move in that. So guys, keep liking the stream so that more people join us. Nerd Junction, you are absolutely right. Rook a7. Harshal, you too. Rook a7 is a good move because the rook is moving on the 7th rank and you're making space for the other rook to go on the a file. And if you see the queen is trapped because queen cannot come out. There is no way in which the queen can move. So queen is also trapped. King f8. I don't know why black is playing here. Like, it's just a position where black can resign, but he chose to play. Okay. Rook h1, bishop e8. Can you tell me the next move, guys? Any suggestions? It's an easy move, guys. Very easy. Look at the natural move possible. Ravi Teja, Harshal, Dharmkaram, you're right. Dharmkaram, I'm just going to call you Puneet because it's very hard to say, I don't know. Puneet, you are also right. Rook a1, double the rooks, and you're threatening a move like rook a8. Also, this knight will soon enter the position. There'll be some bishop a6 also, some sacrifice. Yes, the queen is trapped. It's completely trapped. It has no square. The rooks have no square. Bishop is not doing anything. Knight doesn't have a square. So this is an amazing game, guys, because just look at the position. I mean, there's nothing that black can do. It's completely suffocated, and I don't know what else to say about this. This game is a great game played by Capablanca. This is the Wii again. Yeah, I won't play rook a8 very quickly. I'll take my time. Because yes, you're right, rook 8 and he will get 2 rooks for the queen. So I won't do that. I'll just play normal moves. Rook 1 a4, king f8, queen a3. So you're triple on the a file. And now you're just making random moves so that you can improve the position a bit. Gaining some time on clock so that he can think what can be done next. And again, this is also a waiting game, guys, and a lot of patience is required. You shouldn't hurry in such positions where you know that you're winning and your opponent doesn't have counterplay. So if you just keep on waiting, then your opponent will soon be very bored and he will make a mistake. Puneet, that's a really nice thing to say. बिल्कुल सही बात की आपने. ये पॉन्स ने सारे पीसेस को रोक दिया है, तो ये पॉन्स बहुत ही सही है. You're right. आपने वहाँ से हटाया बिकॉज अभी भी अगर वो ये खेलेंगे तो you can take, and the rook will be a replacement for the knight, or you can play knight b3 and this move. The other move that is possible is this move, but इसमें ये problem है, तो इसीलिए you capture with this. If he plays d4 then you can take, takes, and still it's not good. Like, just look at the pawns again. It's a W instead of V, it's a W now. Okay, so bishop d7 again. What else can he do? You play knight b3, so you're coming here and attacking this. Rook e8, knight a5, knight d8. This is like that puzzle, you know, you used to get, like you have to arrange the pieces in a way so that you have one, like 1 to 9 series. There used to be some puzzle that one square would be remaining, like one empty space is there, and then you have to juggle and everything, and it will be correct. So something like that is going on in white's position. He's just juggling his pieces so that finally he can get the combination correct. I don't remember what that game is called, but I remember. Bishop a6 now. So as I earlier mentioned, this is a very normal sacrifice, and now this piece is going to be exchanged, but well, now already the position is lost, and now you can take this bishop. So finally it's like there is some breathing space for black, but it's too late, and the bishop finally leaves the board, and but it's still lost. Rook e7, rook into d8, rook into d8, and knight into c6, and the game ends in 1-0. Black resigns here finally, but you can still see the victory. The V is still there in the position. Nothing could stop this or break this pawn structure. So did you like the game, guys? I really like this game, and thank you, Avdut, for suggesting this, because this is a really nice game, and I think all of you should know about this game. Is there a lag, guys? Okay. Yes, Puneet, you're right. It's very beautiful. I think this game is much better than the 14 consecutive pawn game. Like, this deserves to be a really nice game, and it should be appreciated a lot, this game. So guys, do you want to see one of my games which is very similar, or do you want to see Tal's game? We can see both, but I think we won't have enough time. So any one of them you can choose. I can show you one of my games, or maybe Mikhail Tal's game. Let me know in the chat, guys. Till then, I'll just find the game. Both, Harshal, it won't be possible. It will take a long while, so that's why. Maybe I can show you one of my games, because it was very similar to this. Like, it was a completely blocked position, and 1 second, I recently played it. Give me a moment. Jaikant, what is the score? I think okay, I'll show one of my games. Alright. Give me a moment, guys. I'm just looking for my game. Once I find it, I'll show it to you. Okay. Okay. Alright, I found the game. Okay. Oh, okay. Alright, so we have the game, and this is a game I played in Serbia against Jevtij Mirolyub. Who he is a senior chess player, like he must be around 60 or something, like an old chess player, and he's a experienced chess player. So he played the game well, but he made a few mistakes and he lost a lot of time in the opening. So let's see: d4, d5, c4, e6, nf3, c6. And usually for c6 I play queen c2 because I don't like this move. I like to capture with the queen. I mean, I can play this and I can play knight c3, but okay, I just wanted to, this was the first round and I wanted to try something else, so I played queen c2. My opponent played h6. I played g3, so normal Catalan. Knight f6, knight bd2, knight bd7, and bishop g2. So this is again a normal Catalan structure. Bishop d6, castles, castles. But the only difference is that h6 has been played and h6 really doesn't have a point. So it's like a waste of a move. b6 is usually played instead of h6. So I'm a tempo up initially as white, plus a tempo up because of h6. Queen into e4, knight f6, queen c2, and rook e8 was played. So guys, any of you plays Catalan by any chance? Like Catalan or with the bishop on g2, like g3 structure? Please do let me know. I played rook d1, a normal move. Bishop f8 is what I thought would be played, but he played queen e7. So again, this is also a bad move, I feel, because now you are limiting the bishop's activity to this diagonal. It cannot move back. Sorry. It cannot go to f8 anymore. Bishop c7, and now you play rook e1. Yeah, queen e7 looks very awkward, and it should be the other way around probably, with queen on c7, bishop on f8, and something like that. And now Ravi Teja, now why do we play rook e1? Can you tell me? Since you were asking me about rook and queen being in the same file. So now rook e1 is played because you have a break here and you're preventing a move like e5. So that's why you play rook e1. Okay, rook d8, b3. I was thinking if b4 is possible, but I played b3 and a5. तो ये बहुत ही typical move है a5, because you want to play a4 and then maybe capture here, and the a1 rook is sort of hanging, so something like that. Yeah, black pushed the pawn. Bishop b2, and he could play this, but I would just take now because this is fine. I have a queen protecting this, and this bishop is again a bad piece, guys. Always remember the bishop on c8 in d4 can be really bad sometimes, because it often gets stuck here on c8 or in behind the pawns. So knight d5 was played, so he wants to go with the knight to this b4 square, which is a nice square. So up till now he has played fine, but now he starts making mistakes, and a3. So he plays a bad move. f6 is a bad move, guys, because can you tell me why is it bad? Can anyone in the chat tell me why it's bad? There's something now that is happening. E6 looks weak, yeah. And guys, remember that I mentioned whenever you make a pawn move, you create a weakness. Yes, Puneet, you're right. Now this is really weak, very weak, and soon I can play knight here and then knight here. So not right now, but soon. So I decided to double and control the e file so that I can attack on this e6 square, e6 pawn, as well as I have some plans like this. Yes, Harshal, you are right. Light square weakness is there, and even bishop h3. So many attackers on this e6 pawn. Queen f7. So he's guarding this with the queen, but queen is not a good defender, guys. Usually you should defend with your minor pieces or with the pawns, and if that's not possible, then only include major pieces, and that too you should first include the rooks and then the queen. Queen is not a good defender because it is very vulnerable to attack in itself, so how can it defend that well, right? Rook a e1, bishop d7, and now I played knight d2. Okay, so the idea is to basically play this knight here, get this bishop here, and maybe have some bishop e4 bishop g6 move. Yes, you're right. Queen f7 was played because there was a pin on the e file. You're correct. You're correct, Harshal. Absolutely right. So I played knight d2 and he played rook e8, knight c4. So this is still not the main position, so that's why I'm rushing. h5. And now I played h4. So again, we have breakwater. This is called the breakwater. A very solid pawn structure on the king side. He cannot attack now. And he played g6. So he is just playing bad moves and he is weakening all of his position. This is a weakness. And I played queen d2 so that I can enter here on h6. He played f5. So again, can you tell me why f5 is a blunder or a bad move? Any suggestions, guys? Why is it bad? Okay, so the problem is now again, this square is weak, this square is weak, this square is weak, this square is weak. So like lot of weaknesses here, and soon my knight will also enter. Hello Sahil. So Sahil is with us. That's great. So the knight kind of enters here. 1 second. And now I play knight e5 because I wanted him to exchange this, and now the weakness will be really evident. And even though you might feel that I shouldn't have exchanged the knight, but I think this was a good move because okay, now d into e5, I captured rook into e5. I think this is a good move. Why? Because this bishop is active. Even though the pawns are on the same color as the bishop, it's still active, it's not stuck. If I can move the queen here, then the bishop can go to c1 and then g5. So that's why a4 was played, and now you just play b4. So again we have something similar, like the black bishop on d7 is stuck. It's like a dead piece pretty much. So he played knight f6. I would like to exchange this and this bishop, or maybe this and this, because bishop on d7 will be really in a bad position later on in the endgame. Queen f4, knight d5, and now I played queen g5. So again I used a small tactic here, because he played knight f6. If I had played this move first, then he would have played something else. But here I played queen f4 deliberately, so that he plays knight d5, queen g5, and that's how I won one move, because I got the same position. If you see here, I just played b4, but now I got the same position with like queen on g5, and it's his move. So I kind of got a tempo. Rook f8, bishop c1. So finally the bishop enters the game. Queen f6, he wants to exchange because he has less space, but you never exchange, guys. You should always come back whenever you have more space. Knight c7, queen d3. So can you tell me what is the threat here? What is white threatening here? What will be his next move? White's next move here. Yes, North Junction, it's very similar. Puneet, you're absolutely correct. Perfect. So bishop g5 is the idea, and the bishop on g5 will be really strong. It will control this e7 square, d8 square, which is the square for the rooks to be on the d file to attack this weak pawn. So that's why it's critical, this d8 square, and you control it with bishop g5. Parshuram, you are right too. Bishop g5 is the move. You're correct. And you're back. That's great. Knight b5. So he's just trying to have some traps, but you ignore that and you just play bishop g5. Queen f7. And now is the time to strike. So how do we strike? How do we take a break here? Or how do we open the position now? What should be the course of action for white here? This is an important move, guys. You can take your time. This is difficult. Guys, I'll repeat again. This was my game against Jevtic Miroljub. He's a Serbian and he is, I think he is around 60 years old. So a senior chess player. And I played against him in Serbia in January. So before the pandemic started again, I played against him. Bishop h6, okay. But we have to take a break. So how do we open up the position? Bishop h6 is a move that is possible, but the bishop on h6 is no better than bishop on g5. So bishop is doing fine. Think guys. Bishop d5, that's interesting, Avdut. But bishop d5, the idea is correct, but why sacrifice the bishop, right, when you can sacrifice the pawn? You can do the same thing with the pawn, right? You have a pawn, you can push it. Yes, Harshal, correct. Yes, Avdut, you're right. So you play d5, not bishop d5, but d5 just with the pawn. And now if he plays takes, can you tell me what is happening? There's some serious problem for black here. Yeah, you mentioned, correct. There's some serious issue. Okay, I'll tell you because it's interesting. Bishop into d5. So now you sacrifice. Why? Because rook e7. So earlier if you play bishop d5, then he will capture with the c pawn and there's no open file for the rook to enter. But you sacrifice the pawn and then you take and sacrifice the bishop. So if he takes, the queen is trapped, guys. The queen is trapped. There is no way for the queen to move out. Nothing. Everything is blocked. So you will get the queen and you will win the game because this is a weak pawn and a lot of weakness here. Yeah, guys. So d5 is what I played, but he didn't capture. He played knight c7. So now I played d6 and now he played knight d5. So that's why I told you it's very similar to the game that we saw. I again had a huge pawn chain and his bishop is bad. So now I captured bishop into d5, c into d5, and now white to play, and you are winning some material. So what should you play? Gautam, that is completely alright. There is no problem. It's completely fine. Puneet, Harshal, Parshuram, Avdut, Gautam, what do you think should be the move? Ravi Teja, you too. You can try to answer. Node Junction. It's a very typical idea. I just showed you something similar. So, can you tell me? Bishop e7 is possible. Yes, you are right. Bishop e7 is possible, but rook into d5. What do you think about rook into d5? Node junction, you are right. Rook into d5 takes, and now again this move. Parshuram, okay, bishop e7 can be played, but you are winning the queen here, and even for this, I think this is just better because even this move is there. You will get another pawn. So rook e8, for instance, you take this, you take the bishop, you take the pawn, and it's just completely winning for white. Gautam, no problem. Rook into d5. Yes, I played rook into d5, and he played f4. So f4 is a counter move, and it is a good move, I believe. But I just got back the rook, fg3, and now there's one important move. So how do you completely lock the position now? Because if you open the file, then queen f2 is the problem. So what do you play here? Okay, let's go to this move. Bishop b5. Then I can just take. I can just take the bishop here, and then still I'm winning this queen. Thank you, Puneet. So f4, and you play rook e5. fg3 now is a very critical move, guys. Very critical. fg3 leads to queen f2 and some threats here because this is ulta mate almost and I wouldn't want to go for that. So I played f4, guys, and now you might feel that this bishop is trapped in its own pawns, but this bishop is still active. It's controlling this important square, which will be the queening square for the pawn, and also it supports these two pawns. So this is good for me, and I don't have an issue here because rook on a8 is not doing anything. Both my rooks are active. Queen is active. It's attacking here. I can take on g3 anytime I wish to, and I don't think there's any problem. Like even b5 and c6 is one thing. So my king is exposed, but there's no way he can attack on my king. So that's why I can move the pawns. So queen e8, and now I just played queen into g3. King h7, queen g2 check, queen g2, and he played queen c8. So if he plays this, then I just play queen c2. Okay, so I am attacking here and I'm attacking here. So queen c8, queen e2, and queen e2 has some threats which you will see. Queen c6, and Can you tell me the move? Now is the time to open the position again. So how do you take a break, guys? Again, this move is also very important. Queen e2 was played so that this move could be successful. So guys, once you know the rules, then like when you are very well versed with the rules, then you should try to break the rules. Before that you shouldn't. So since I knew about the bishop and the pawns, so that's why I could play f4, rook into e6. Hello Vishu, how are you? Okay, e6, alright. So most of you are seeing this move, but I think it's not going to work. It's too soon for that because this is hanging, guys. If you see, e1 is hanging if the queen moves. So that's why you prepare for it. You play f5 without even sacrificing. If you can open the position, nothing like it, right? Rook f5, you take. If he takes, you play and enter with the queen. You give a check now, and it's a forced mate, I think. So it's a forced mate pretty much. And if he takes with the pawn on g6, then you can play queen into h5 and you will surely win the game very soon. So for f5, my opponent played rook a e8. Alright, so now I decided I should play b5. You might be wondering what happens if queen into b5, but after queen into b5, I think I can take and just take here. So these pawns are really strong and I will win the game. That's what I thought. So he decided not to capture here. He just went back queen c8. And now I played fg6, king into g6, and there's a small tactic here, guys. You can try to solve this. It's a cool move, like it's slightly unexpected. Hello Atul. Thank you, Atul. I was just showing one of my games. So here it's white to play and win. Like it's completely winning now. Discovered attack. How? Okay, queen c2. Alright. So guys, I played bishop f6. Okay, so this looks slightly strange, but there's something deep, and you can try to find out. Yes, this was a really nice game, Atul. You're right. Almost crushed. Almost. If he takes, then if he takes here, you just play queen h5. Yeah, queen h5. This here, this move, and it's a forced checkmate. This is slightly long, but yes, it's a forced checkmate. And if he captures with the king, then what do you think should be played? It's a mate in 3 around. Mate in 3 moves. Vishu, 1 second, I'll come to that. Okay, rook f1. Sarthak, yes, rook f1, king moves. And now you can play the queen h5 or you can play rook g5. Anything works. So it's a forced mate and he cannot escape here. So after bishop f6, there's nothing that he can do because he cannot play rook h8 because I'll play this move here. And again, this is also a checkmate. If he goes to the h file, then I just play queen h5. So there's no way out of this. And queen e4 is possible, but queen e4 you just move back with the king. And eventually you'll have to do something about the bishop. So bishop e7 maybe. But I think the game goes on for some time. So I think bishop f6 is slightly more correct. Queen g2. I think Parshuram said Queen g2. Okay. Queen g2 is interesting. So you want to play the same idea. But now I'll play this move. Rook g8. A strange move, but I think it saves the game. Not the game, but prevents the attack in a way. Because if you move the bishop, I can play king h7 maybe. Or king f7. King h7 probably. So there are some threats. You will have to exchange this. Again, queen into g5, rook g8 is there. So you play bishop into g5 and the game will go on. So that's why you just move this move. Attack the pawn here and win the game. Yeah, king f7. Again, I play this. That doesn't help. King f7 doesn't help. So this pawn, guys, is preventing the king from evacuating with king e7 and king d8. So this pawn is the main it's the main warrior here in the game. And again, it's a checkmate. There's no way to move out after bishop f6. It was very similar to the game we saw before, the v4 victory, with the bishop stuck here. And that's how you take advantage of the bishop here. You keep improving the position and then suddenly you take a break with a pawn break with your pawn and soon you win the game. I think they are social distancing from the king. They are staying away from the king. Yeah, important role of the pawn here. And my opponent resigned here. No, he played one move. I think he played rook h8, protecting the pawn. But I saw it and I played rook g5 check. So again, this, you play this. Or you can even play rook f1. So I played rook f1, which was slightly better. Because if the rook moves anywhere, you can just play bishop here and win the game. So for instance, this move, you can mate your opponent like this, I think. Yeah, this will be interesting. So rook f8 or rook g8. Checkmate. Many tactics in this game, guys. Different ways of meeting your opponent. Okay, guys, so that was it for today. If you have any questions, you can ask me, guys. Yeah. Avdat, good luck. So yeah, only 2 games because guys, I have a seminar from tomorrow, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I'll have to wake up at maybe 5:30 or 6 because it starts at 7, so I have to wake up early. That's why I can only stream for some time for the next 3 days, but then I will go on for more time maybe. Yeah, Vishu, even I thought so because whenever there's a CSK match, like I would like to keep it before because I follow CSK a lot and I see all the matches. I like to see IPL myself. Avdut, okay, I'll listen to your request. Okay, we'll see that game. Vishu, maybe we can keep it at 5 or 6 in the evening, but again, I think it clashes with most of you. So either it can be 10:30 or 10 or maybe 6:30, something like that. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Okay, guys, take care. Yeah, every time clashes with IPL, exactly. Good luck, guys. Take care. Good night. Bye. I hope you like today's games. So Bye guys. Yes, Avdut. Bye.